But until then, the cuts will have wide-reaching impact on organizations all over the country. KEZI 9 News reporter Na Nguyen is live in the studio with response from some local groups impacted. Na?
Brandy, earlier this week we spoke with local departments about the impact the sequestration could have on their operations. Lane County Public Health was one of them, and it specifically said that its WIC program would have to cut services to nearly 1,000 people, but there are many others that remain unsure about what exactly will happen. Sequestration is getting started, which means cuts all across the board, including more than $80,000 to Oregon groups that provide services to victims of domestic violence like Eugene's Womenspace.
So right now the budgets for the federal money that we have already been set. I don't think they're going to cut those.
But next year could be a different story. Employees here were rejoicing over the recent passing of the Violence Against Women Act. But the sequestration does put a damper on things a bit.
You know, it's a federal funding source. So if there is a sequestration, if this does happen, then definitely they will have less money. They will have to cut, which again goes back to there'll probably be fewer grant awards or less money that will be being provided.
And while they worry about the impact on their funding, they're very conscious of the effects on their partners, too.
That Womenspace is an agency that's sort of dual track.
Not only do they deal in human services, but public safety as well. So they also feel the effects when their partners in law enforcement are experiencing cuts, too.
That's going to impact Womenspace because there's no leverage in the corrections system. And so therefore, we end up having to provide additional services for survivors to keep them safe.
And while they admit the loss of those funds statewide may only affect them slightly, even the smallest losses can cause major damage.
It's like a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and then that starts adding up. And that's really how it's been feeling the last few years, is it's not huge cuts in any one place, it's death by 1,000 cuts.
We reached out to several other departments today, including local food safety, park, unemployment, military, and veteran services. But each one said it was too early for them to tell how those national and state cuts could impact us locally. Live in the studio, Na Nguyen, KEZI 9 News.